What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today Becky and I are heading up to Akron-ish to pick up a new block for my engine. As you guys saw in the last video, my block is unfortunately garbage, so we'll make something cool out of it when we get there. But yeah, so today we're heading up. We've got about an hour and a half left of this drive to go get the new block. We're gonna pick it up and then obviously bring it back home, and I'll get up on the engine stand and we'll get to working on that thing. So yeah, we're heading up there right now. All right, guys, we just picked up the block. Becky's driving now. We somehow switched. Magic. I want to give a big shout out to Scott over at Never Sleep Performance. He's the guy that we came up in here and picked the block up from. He's got a really nice shop up here. It's actually really close to Summit Motorsport. So if you guys are in the area looking for some work done on your vehicles, Scott's the man. He's got a hot tank and everything in there in the shop, so he can hook you up with whatever you need. He's the guy to go to. So big shout out to Scott. Thanks again for that block. You really helped way more than you know. So we're gonna get it home now and we'll get it up on the stand and start working on it. All right, guys. Whoa, what's going on with that? All right, just got home. Got the new block here. It's still got the crank and everything in it. He even gave me the rear main seal, water pump, everything still on it. So oil pump, all that good stuff. So I gotta get my ARP studs out of this block, and then get this block down off the stand. I'll get that block up on it, put my studs in it, flip it over, take the bottom end apart, get the crank out, and then basically we'll be right back here with a fresh block, and then this one we can figure out what we want to do with later on. So for now I'm going to go inside and hang out for a minute because it's been a long day of just driving, and then probably come back out here in a little bit and get started working on that. So yeah, it's been a long day, but we got the new block. And we're pretty much ready to get rolling with this thing, so I'm super excited. I cannot wait. We can actually, once I get this thing ready, we can, if I wanted to, we could go ahead and assemble the long block, put the crank rods, pistons, all that good stuff in, and then we'll just be waiting on the heads. So we'll see. I don't know how far I want to get into all that. I might just wait until I get my heads done before I start on the block stuff, one project at a time. I'm really bad at overwhelming myself, so yeah, anyways, I'm going to get that block up there later. So without any further ado, I'm going to go inside and hang out for a little bit and be back out here in a minute. All right, guys, it's now the next day. We got home yesterday and just kind of hung out because it was a pretty long drive. So I'm out here today. I got to take apart the bottom end of this new block. It still has the crank in it, so I got to get all that stuff off so I can get ready to reassemble. So I need to get it up on the engine stand, get the old one off, but first I gotta take my ARP studs out of this block. So I'm gonna go ahead and take all those out, set them aside, and then I'll get that one up on the stand, which actually I'm gonna take the rear main seal off before I do that. If you remember from the other video that I made about that, it's a pain in the butt once you get it on the stand. So yeah, anyways, we'll go ahead and get working on this thing and get it ready to be assembled. And then we'll get back to sanding on the heads and finishing that up. So we will get going. All right, guys, I know the heater's pretty loud, so I hope you can hear me pretty good. These last three head studs in here I'm having a hard time getting out. So I don't know if maybe I forgot to put grease on them or what before I put these 3 in, but they are really, really tight. These ARP head studs have a 5mm Allen key in the top, and the rest of them popped out, and these 3 started stripping the Allen key in. So I just wanted to show you guys how I'm getting them out, because I cannot use that Allen key. So what I'm doing is, these studs have 9/16 nuts and 12 points. So I got a 9/16 12 point wrench, put that guy on there, and then I'll thread one of the nuts on upside down, like that. And then thread the second nut on behind it, right side up, like that. And then thread them both all the way on so they're both completely on the threads. There we go. And once you got them both all the way on, we'll get a 19 or a 9/16 12 point socket, put that on the top one, and then put your wrench in the bottom one. So now what we want to do, we're going to tighten the nuts together. All right. So now I can just take that off, put that up here. And all I gotta do is just push on this wrench and it'll pop the stud loose. You can see how tight they are in there. Now the stud's coming out. So now what we'll do, well actually this one I'm just gonna keep going on. And then once it gets pretty loose, like finger tight or so, we'll go ahead and pop the nuts back free from each other. But I don't know what I did to these guys, but definitely make sure I put plenty of grease on them going into the new block. Alright, that's pretty free now. So now we'll do the opposite of what we did at the beginning. Put our socket back on, and then we're going to try to pinch it together. Maybe. I think we'll get it off first. Alright, so we're all the way off. Okay. But yeah, so that's all you gotta do, guys. You can get them out like that. So you can see the 2 nuts. So now we just gotta do the opposite and break them apart and then take them off. Alright, so now we're gonna get back to work on this, guys. We're gonna pop this rear main seal off. Obviously this is gonna be much easier than it was on the stand. Generous amount of Honda bond on it. Alright. We'll get our crowbar out and pop that guy off. Ready to go on the engine stand, so we'll go ahead and get that one off and get this one on. Alright, just got the new block up on the stand, and I just realized there's a walnut inside of it. Try to get that out. And I'm going to swap this knock sensor with that one, because I remember last time I had to swap those sensors out because they were different for whatever reason. So I'm going to keep that sensor because I know it works with my harness. I'll put that in here. So now I'm going to take water pump and the oil pump off, and then we'll be able to take the crank out the bottom of it. And then we'll have this one broken down into a bare block, just like that. And then we can start reassembly on that whenever we get to it. So I'm going to go ahead and get all that taken apart for now, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so I just got the crank out of this block, and it looks like it actually spun a bearing pretty bad. Looks like it was bearing in the second, on the second main, but you can see like all the crap built up around in there, and even a little bit on this one. But it doesn't look like anything's really damaged. I gotta get that piece of the bearing out of there. I'll clean it up and make sure, but it looks like it might be okay. We might have got really lucky there, but yeah, I doubt that Scott knew about that. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and clean it all up, make sure nothing's damaged, and then we'll call it a day for today. I'm just gonna go chill inside for the rest of the day because it's freaking cold out here. But yeah, so I mean, hopefully it's savable. I don't really see any damage yet, but who knows. So we'll see when we get it all cleaned up. All right, guys, so I got all the main caps in the new block, everything cleaned up real nice. So I think we're definitely gonna be able to use it. I don't really see any damage in the block at all. I didn't even look at the crank because I don't really care, because like I said, I'm not using it, so it doesn't really matter as long as the block's good. So it's up here on the engine stand now, and it's pretty much ready to go together. So the only thing we're waiting on now is me to finish up with my heads. And then once I'm done polishing them, we can take them up to the lake to the machine shop, port them, and then grind the valves, put the valves in, put the heads back together, then I can assemble the block. So we still got a long ways to go on this thing, and I still got a lot of other stuff I want to get done in the car too, like putting my big radiator in so that'll stop the overheating problems, which is going to require me, I think, to cut out my top core support. So I'm going to need to get hood pins for this. I'm going to rewire my whole nitrous kit, clean that up a little bit, and I really want to clean up all this mess too. So got a lot of work in there I want to get done, as well as some stuff on the interior that I want to get done also. So I've got a long list of stuff to do, and what feels like no time to do it, but we'll get it done, guys, and hopefully provide plenty of content for you guys to watch and stay entertained. So we'll get started on that as soon as the engine stuff is done, because that's more important to me right now. So yeah, I'm gonna knock out these heads as fast as I can, hopefully get them done this week, and then by next weekend, hopefully be able to start putting those guys together. So that's the plan as of now. So I'm gonna go inside now, and I'll see you when I'm back out here on these heads.